We're really happy tonight to have
Come closer. Whoa.
Good luck. To have Barbara and to have also the art critic Jonathan Goodman. And Jonathan has some questions to ask to Barbara, and maybe Barbara has some questions for you.
Or maybe I can or cannot answer.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Goodman. I'm a writer and a teacher here in the city, and I can claim a long knowledge of Barbara. I knew her before she left New York for Shanghai, and I know also her husband, John June, and it's terrific to see her and to see her new work. And I thought that I'd just ask a few questions for those of you who don't know her background so well. I guess the first thing I'd ask is how long have you been in Shanghai? How long have you been?
I visited Shanghai in '97 for the first time, and then gone back for vacations. And in 2007, Jen, June, and I started going there for half a year, and then coming back to New York half a year. Jen was teaching at NYU then. And then the last 3 or 4 years, it's been full-time teaching. So here, less, but still New York and Shanghai.
And you have progressed from being a full-time artist to someone who teaches as well as makes art. Is that correct?
Right. Still full-time artist, but also teacher, professor.
As someone who's been to China several times, I write a lot about the Chinese artists. They often come here to America and have made their way here. It's much more unusual, I think, for an American to go to China and to set up a career as successfully as Barbara has done. And one of the things we were talking about earlier was that you are known now not as a Chinese artist, but as a Shanghainese artist. And I wondered if where you are often the only non-Chinese person to be showing in a group show, for example.
Correct.
And if you could just talk a little bit about what that feels like, that'd be really interesting.
I mean, it's. I think Shanghai, because it's such an international city historically and even today, so I've been accepted into the art world of Shanghai and have been, as Jonathan said, in many shows that are Shanghai artist shows, and comparing also shows of Chinese or contemporary art compared to Ming Dynasty artists or Chinese artists, but I was the only foreigner. So I think I've been really accepted, and I'm very happy that I've been accepted in Shanghai and in China. I think that my work has related very much to, it references Chinese ink painting, but it's done in my own way. It's sort of a fusion. It's Chinese ink, but it's on Western, it's on Italian paper. Or it's using nature imagery, which a lot of Chinese artists do, but it's, again, in my own way of doing it. Or the video is a comment, or it's referring back to Chinese landscape painting, and it's projected on rice paper. But then again, it's a video. It's not an ink drawing, but it's done in black. It's almost black and white. And it also talks about the energy. What you're seeing there is the shadows of trees moving on walls, old walls, the garden walls. But what you're really seeing is the energy of, you're seeing the wind, you're seeing the trees moving in the wind, but you're really seeing then the wind, the energy of the wind, which relates back to the Chinese tradition, the idea of qi, the energy in the world. So I think the Chinese artists or the curators understand that I'm playing with things, but it's a fusion.
I was going to ask, you were trained as an art student here in America, though, right?
Correct.
You didn't receive traditional brush painting training, no. But I guess what's interesting to me is that you've been successfully able to meld or combine influences. And do you feel that that's something you do consciously, or is that just the experience of living in China and picking up your background as a Western artist? How comfortable are you with the merger?
Well, I've used ink since I was a child. My brother is here, who's an artist also. Bruce uses a lot of ink, but he also uses more charcoal. And charcoal was never my media. I always used ink, but it was a media. And now, when I'm in China, I'm learning more and more about what they call the spirit of ink painting, the ideas and the concepts behind ink painting. So that's a conscious learning. I've learned some brush techniques, and I've learned more about Chinese inks, because there's not just one kind of ink. But it's really a melding, and it's learning and transitioning and combining, and it's always a process.